Hello and welcome to the Best and Worst Pictures podcast. I'm your host, Jake, and with me as always, my good co-host, Ian. And joining us as per usual is my other wildly dashing man, Joaquin. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Same. What is this show, you might ask? Well, every other week, schedule pending, we sit down and watch a Best Picture winner in terms of one of the best or worst pictures as compared to the other winners. And this time, we're talking about the 33rd Best Picture winner ever, which is, of course, none other than the hit classic, The Apartment. And to start us off, Ian has selected some fun facts, which Joaquin and I have not heard at the time. So, Ian, take it away.
I can't believe we're already at 33. What is that? Like almost done?
That's a third done.
It's a
no,
third done.
It's not almost done at all.
So today we're watching The Apartment, distributed by United Artists.
Mhm.
A lot of movies back then were distributed by United Artists.
Are they still
Very
around?
exciting. I don't think so.
I haven't heard of them.
Why would they be
This
still
movie
around?
is 125 minutes long, 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yep.
Cool.
$3 million budget, $13.2 million box office.
All right.
It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 93% critic, 94% audience. IMDb, 8.3 out of 10. Metacritic, 94. Critically acclaimed. I'm really excited to talk about this one. The man himself, Jack Lemmon. We love Jack Lemmon.
Yes, we do.
watched Glengarry Glen Ross
Yep.
for Dealer's Choice,
Mm-hmm.
and he was phenomenal.
Yep.
So I'm super excited to see young, talented, amazing Jack Lemmon. Jack Lemmon worked with this director 7 times, transitioned to Ray Walston, one of the least interesting out of the 3. He's Joe Dobish. He is in Popeye, 1980.
Woo!
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Of Mice and Men, which
Okay.
I have seen,
Okay.
and Addams Family Reunion. I've seen every one of those movies except
The Reunion one's the directed DVD movie, right?
Yup.
Okay.
the least interesting guy. Now we're going over to Hal Smith, who plays Bar Santa. Very minor role. Why did I highlight this guy? He's the only other interesting person in this entire cast. He's not in a lot of notable live action movies. Joaquin, I'm surprised you didn't at least even perk up a little bit. He's a voice actor, and he's Owl in all the Winnie the Pooh movies.
Oh, that's cute.
He's
Adorable.
Owl from Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, The Blustery Day, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. In Winnie the Pooh Discovers the Seasons and A Day for Eeyore. Like, he's Owl. He is Felipe in Beauty and the Beast. He is the role of Goofy in A Mickey's Christmas Carol. The one I like, because it's just a Christmas Carol with Goofy.
Okay.
And he is in the Flintstones for like almost every season of its run.
Okay. Now we're talking.
And we're going to get to the director, Billy Wilder, who we've already watched a movie for. It's a banger. Directed The Lost Weekend, Double Indemnity, Sunset Boulevard, Stalag 17, Sabrina, Witness for the Prosecution, and Some Like It Hot. Those aren't even all the films that he's noted for. Those are all just the ones he got nominated for Best Director for.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
There are more movies that he's known for.
I'm sure.
And I had to cut down the list because I was like, oh, 15? He's got nominated 21 times at the Academy Awards, winning 6. He received 13 nominations for screenwriting and 8 for direction.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
He is one of the greats. The last fun fact I have about Billy Wilder, his name's William Wilder, is that the movie that he wanted to do for his last film is another Best Picture winning film. William Wilder wanted to make Schindler's List. He was the one, he went over because he lived through the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to do it as a memorial to his mother, grandmother, and stepfather, who all died in the Holocaust.
Oh.
And he did not get to do it.
Okay.
He did not get to direct Schindler's List. I want to point something out about the year of release. 3 more notable films really released this year that didn't get nominated for Best Picture. Some of them got nominated for awards, and we'll actually touch on 1 or 2 of them. Magnificent Seven came out this year. Psycho came out this year.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
Spartacus came out this year.
Oh my god. All right. I'm going to get ticked off at that one.
I love all 3 of these movies.
Uh-huh.
I could take
I
or
don't
leave
think
Psycho.
any of them got nominated for Best Picture. Except
Really?
Nope, none of them. I'll go through it. Don't worry. We're almost
Spartacus get nominated?
there. Nope. So
It's a crime.
Wilder and the other person who wrote the script based this film partially off of a Hollywood scandal in where one of the dudes was shot by the producer after fucking his wife. Which I thought was really funny. Like, that was one of the fun facts. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I gotta write
That's
this one down.
pretty funny.
Wilder generally requires his actors to follow script. He hated when people went off script
Okay.
and like improvised. That's the word I was looking for.
Mhm.
Lemon improvises in 2 scenes in this movie, and I don't want to. I have them written down. I don't want to talk about them until afterwards.
Okay.
But I think they're smaller. But I want to see if we know which ones are improvised, if we like the scenes, and you know what I mean.
Sure.
Like I think
That makes me think that he improvised more than twice, and we're only seeing twice.
maybe.
Maybe they just cut everything else because he hates improvisation.
But we also have a lot. This movie has a general forced perspective for certain things,
Cool.
and the art director did that to create the set of the large insurance office. The set is supposed to be a really big, beautiful, not beautiful, it's an insurance agency, but like a really big room where there's a bunch of desks placed around, and it's actually way small. Like, it's actually insane. And they used items from thrift stores and Wilder's own furniture for parts of the set. Like, it's
Same.
a much smaller room, which is incredibly
This
funny.
is my house. I'm doing the exact same thing right now.
So we're going to do the awards show. There's not a lot of production notes and not a lot of fun awards show stuff.
right.
But this movie got 10 nominations. It won Best Picture over The Alamo, Elmer Gantry, Sons and Lovers, and The Sundowners.
And over fucking Spartacus, but go on.
Over Spartacus, Psycho, Magnificent Seven, all really good films.
Yep.
Best Director went to none other than Billy Wilder. Best Actor went to Burt Lancaster
Oh.
for Elmer Gantry as Elmer Gantry. Trevor Howard was also nominated. Jack Lemmon was also nominated. Laurence Olivier also nominated. And Spencer Tracy was also nominated. Best Actress went to Elizabeth Taylor from Butterfield 8.
Very disappointing. Okay.
Shirley MacLaine, who I highlighted at the top of this, but didn't actually talk about because I talked about her in Around the World in 80 Days. I don't want to keep talking about the same people. Also got nominated, as did Greer Carlson, Deborah Kerr, and Melina Mercuri. Best Supporting Actor went to Peter Ustinov from Spartacus as
Hey!
I believe it's Batiatus.
Yes. Yep.
Um,
One of the guys.
Jack Cruchen from The Apartment also got nominated for this, as did Peter Falk, Sal Mineo, and Chill Wills.
Chill Wills.
I want to be Chill Wills. It's a sick name. Best Original Screenplay, even though it was adapted from a real-life thing. The Apartment. It beat The Angry Silence, The Facts of Life, Hiroshima, My Love, and Never on Sunday. Best Sound went to The Alamo. It beat The Apartment, Cimarron, Pepe, and Sunrise at the Campobello. Cimarron 2, by the way. This is, I believe, a remake of the film.
Okay. Yep.
Best Art Direction, Black and White. You already know The Apartment won Best Art Direction, Black and White. Most of the other good films this year were in color, like they should have been.
That's true.
It beat The Facts of Life, Psycho, Sons and Lovers, and Visit to a Small Planet. Best Cinematography, Black and White, Sons and Lovers. Beating The Apartment, Facts of Life, Inherit the Wind, and Psycho. Best Film Editing, The Apartment. Beating The Alamo, Inherit the Wind, Pepe, and Spartacus. Stacked year.
Okay.
A lot of really, really good films.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I have a couple fun production notes.
Okay. I like fun notes.
This was the first year the ceremony aired on ABC television.
Oh, neat.
First year the red carpet lines to walk into the theater.
Oh.
This is the origination of the red carpet. What do you think of when you think of actors? You think of the red carpet. This was the origination of the Hollywood red carpet for the Academy Awards.
Absolutely.
And we have one more. This one isn't the first. It's a last. Young and rising star Haley Mills won the Academy Juvenile Award for her breakthrough performance in the film Pollyanna. Mills is the last recipient of the award because they retired the award directly afterwards. From 1963 onward, juvenile actors competed in the normal
That makes sense.
categories.
That makes sense.
This was the last Juvenile Achievement Award. And it went to Haley Mills
That's
for
adorable.
Pollyanna as
fair.
Pollyanna.
I kind of like the idea to just lump it into the normal categories.
But a
because-
child will probably never win Best Actor or
Well-
Actress.
Well, it's more prestigious if you do win.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That as opposed to getting the kiddie pool one. Oh, here's a little award for just for you.
award for you.
Use your
Yeah.
cute.
And we have one more fun fact.
Is it Mary
For
Pickford?
No. This is a presenter fact. I normally like the presenter facts. Jake, remember how I said Magnificent Seven came out this year?
Yep.
Cajun American Yul Brynner
All right.
presented Best Actress. I just wanted to talk about Yul
Best
Brynner.
Actress?
I love Yul Brynner.
I love you.
So I really wanted to
Same.
push it out there.
That's amazing.
And now we have the Mary Pickford fact.
Yes, we
Oh
do.
boy.
So this Mary Pickford fact is less of a Mary Pickford fact and more of a fact about how weird things have been and how things change.
Uh-oh.
So Mary Pickford was born in 1892
Okay.
as Gladys Marie Smith, later known as Mary Pickford. We've already talked about that. It shows the exact address, city, and country that she was born in
Huh.
under the born. That does not happen anymore.
No.
We can go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
211 University Avenue in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, that's this continent.
You
We
got-
could probably
It
drive there.
legitimately. So now
pretty
newspaper
far.
articles used to have like people's addresses when they talked about them.
Yep.
Like Mary Pickford of 7 Yemen Road, Yemen. Like
Yep.
it baffles me how much things have changed for that. And I saw that. I think I grabbed the Mary Pickford fact 3 days ago, and I saw that, and I'm like, it actually has like the full legal street name
Yep.
of this for her birth.
As time's gone on, information about where you live and what you do is way more important.
Yeah.
To not reveal.
I mean, we pretty much saved every single president house. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Very true.
So-
Yep.
I just really wanted to talk about that because I thought that while searching for the Mary Pickford fact, that was one of the most interesting things I found.
Well, back to the apartment itself. I'm very excited.
Jake, he directed The Lost
The
Weekend.
Lost Week. That was why I was excited, because he did one of the best Picture winning movies.
Agreed.
The Lost Weekend.
It's in the top 5.
Top 5 easy for me.
Yep.
And I'm also excited for like the future, because aside from like Schindler's List and stuff like that, this is the last black and white one.
Schindler's List and The Artist. are
Yep,
the last
that's it.
two.
And they're
Yep.
way later on, so we got nothing but color
What,
movies.
1993 and then 2010?
Yes, more or less. But yeah, we got nothing but color movies ahead of us.
Yeah.
I'm
Which
excited.
is really, it's really exciting to have all the color movies. That being said, I'm going to miss parts of the elements of the black and white movies, because for movies like The Lost Weekend, I feel like the black and white adds to it.
Well, there are some movies where black and white, like Schindler's List, I think black and white enhances
The black and
that
white
movie.
does add to Schindler's List a lot, actually.
Now,
Yeah.
to be fair, Ian, this means we get like 20 years of Technicolor now.
Dude, Technicolor stopped in what, the 80s?
I like Technicolor. I'll say it.
Technicolor is better than color, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
say
it's
it right
pretty
now.
strong.
Technicolor colors, something about watching the Technicolor colors, especially when we were watching Ben-Hur 2 weeks ago, is it's just gorgeous.
They're just very saturated.
They're just really nice.
Mm-hmm.
It feels real and whimsical at the same time.
You're right. I
And
love Technicolor.
a lot of digital color, if you try to do certain saturations on digital color, it looks gross and
Mm-hmm.
fake.
That's why HDR is starting to become more and more of a thing. For
Like,
love
Joker,
HDR.
you've watched the Transformers movies. Does anything look real in them? It's the color balance.
Do you
the color
think- do you
balance
think-
comes all off? The
think
people
the-
look faker than the Transformers.
do you think the color balance is the issue?
For the way the movie looks, absolutely.
For Transformers, you think that's the issue?
That's not
For the way the
issue.
movie looks, absolutely.
It's not the issue, man. But in any case,
I think that's just the way.
If it was in Technicolor, gorgeous.
every TV in my house has HDR. I think except for that one shitty one in my bedroom. But like
Yeah.
this TV has it. The one in the good room has it. I love HDR too much. I can't now that my eyes have been spoiled for it, I can't go back. Like I just
Yeah.
it's too good.
I have two 4K monitors. I have the same.
Yeah, right. It's good shit.
Yeah, but I'm
yeah.
super excited for this one because we have one of the best directors of all time again
Yep.
running the show, and I get to see young Jack Lemmon, man.
I know. I'm excited for that too.
So while I was
Pretty
looking for the
excited.
fun facts, I just want to say this before we go right into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at Jack Lemmon's filmography. Jack Lemmon's also a musician. Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
He's really talented. I listened to some of the songs. He did a song
Mm-hmm.
for Some Like It Hot, and it's really nice. He has like his own album, like a little album and stuff. He also narrated Peter and the Wolf, and I really wanted to find him narrating Peter and the Wolf because
Listen.
I wanted to know if it was the one that I listened to when I was younger, because it came out in 1999 or something.
You could just buy the CD.
Bro, I'm not buying a CD. What is this? It's 2015.
It's
Don't leave me a
$5.
voicemail.
It was $5.
It was. I saw 13. But I'm not paying $13 for Peter and the Wolf when I can listen to Peter and the Wolf for free.
doesn't matter because they're gonna watch the
But
apartment.
I
I'm
looked
getting ready.
for 45 minutes for an audio file, man. I got distracted. That
Jake's
being
already
said,
reclined.
I am so excited for this movie.
I'm in
Yeah.
apartment
think-
watching mode right now.
I,
All right.
Out of all of the ones in the 60s, this might be the one I'm the most jazzed for. This and Lawrence of Arabia.
Not most jazzed for, but I'm jazzed.
I'm so jazzed because of how good The Lost Weekend was.
Well, I guess we're gonna see in
Now.
right now.
So before we get into it, I have the 2 improvised scenes and then 2 more things that also happened during the production of this movie.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell you which scenes were improvised. The scene where he squirts the nasal spray across the room, accident. Didn't
Oh.
mean to do it.
That funny
Real-
thing you guys pointed out?
Yep.
That you missed.
I completely missed it.
And the scene where he's singing while cooking spaghetti and he trains it to a tennis racket.
Really?
Yep.
That whole scene?
Yep.
That's fucking one
All
of
an
the best scenes.
improvised scene.
I watched that scene and went, wow, this is like...
Smart
Like
writing.
that shot when he's in the kitchen doing everything, all
That's what
Crazy.
it stood out to me, just how talented he was in this movie.
Yeah.
natural talent.
That
There are 2
wow.
more things. The scene where he gets punched, he actually got hit because he didn't move correctly for the fake
Ooh.
punch.
Really?
They used the real punch in the movie.
Really?
And he actually got a cold from that
Oh,
park bench scene
shit.
because it was sub-zero that day.
Oh my god. That's awful.
A bunch of coincidences, but man, hang on. I'm just gonna tell you. Was there anything else you had to say?
Nope, those are the 4.
I just had to tell you guys that this movie is a banger.
This is
holy
really
shit.
is. Wow.
This is some heat,
This
dog.
is some top tier
Listen,
shit.
I expected a good movie from Billy Wilder.
I thought it was gonna be fine. I thought it was gonna be good.
You didn't see The Last Weekend with us.
No, I
You
didn't.
would have thought it would be better after you saw that one.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is incredible.
No, it's
is
phenomenal.
incredible.
Oh my
This
God.
writing, this is some fucking
I love the
sharp writing.
I
okay?
love the writing.
I'm a sucker for comedies, okay? I
yeah.
know they're cheap and easy. Well, not obviously
They-
not all comedies.
They
I'm just
can
saying.
be cheap and easy.
They
Yes.
can be cheap and easy.
They have one of the highest probabilities out of a film
To be
of
cheap and
being
easy.
cheap and easy.
Exactly.
Because as a director or a financial point of view, you just have to film actors saying jokes. It's easy.
This, on the other hand, is not that.
Right.
They got a banging writer's room here
Mm-hmm.
to tell some of the fucking most top-notch jokes. It's all, and it's wordplay most of the time, which I fucking
Dude,
appreciate.
I love the wordplay in
It's
this.
The
so
wordplay is
good.
really,
It's
really good.
so good.
Oh my god! And not all your characters, mind you, your main characters, Fran and Baxter are 2 of the most charming characters I've seen on screen
Yeah,
in a
100%.
while.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
the writing, you can thank Billy Wilder himself
Mm-hmm.
because he and IAC Diamond or LAC Diamond wrote the film.
You want to talk about well-developed female characters in a time period without well-developed female characters? This is like the
Yeah.
diamond in the rough. This is the
Wow.
one that stands out.
Wow, are you telling me when there's an attempted suicide and you don't joke about it, it becomes a better movie? GG.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
a good point. I forgot about that
Yeah.
entire section.
Because this movie, you know what ruins comedy movies is when they're just comedy movies and there's nothing around them.
Yeah.
This movie is a film that has the elements of comedy written into the script. It takes itself seriously when it needs to. It's funny when it needs to be.
Yep.
And the moments in between aren't boring with nothing there because you're not just doing nothing and then making comedy.
Exactly.
This is a film first
Yep.
and a comedy second.
It is.
Mhm.
And, it
And
tells
that's
us-
what every comedy should be. That's what every film should be.
It tells an amazing story. It has some amazing character work. Some arcs. Almost every main character has an arc. I
Yep.
would assume. Like I'm just thinking about it offhand. All the big ones do. Bud has an arc. Obviously, Fran has the biggest arc.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
her boss gets kicked in the ass, and it's just a cavalcade, if you will, of her boss trying to manage his own situation at home and personal life and work
Yeah.
life, mixing the two, and then it all falling apart at certain times, especially towards the end. I love the character work. There's
Yeah.
a scene I want to point out that kind of, as if I haven't talked much about character work, it kind of points out a scene that I'm talking about here. Bud kept vouching for his shitty boss, saying, "Oh, he'll leave his wife for you." He's talking to Fran. "Oh, he's gonna leave his wife for you. Don't worry." He's sticking up for the guy, even though the boss is a piece of shit.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
Bud is so humble and good of a character of a person that he's not trying to like one up anybody else. And the boss kept saying, "I'm gonna leave my wife real soon for you, Fran," and he never did. But after Fran recovers, the boss's wife kicks him out, and then when Bud sees Fran again, he still heavily endorses his boss, like, "See, I told you he'd do it for you." And then the boss is like spinning it the other way too, like, "Yeah, I left her for you," and all that shit.
Yep.
And to me,
Yeah, he had no other options.
right. So
Yeah.
he's playing it off like,
He's
yeah,
like,
I did it for you,
this
friend.
was all planned from
All
the
me.
beginning.
I got the mastermind. And what
Pat
that
himself
does
on the back, jerking himself off, puffing smoke up his own ass.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right, exactly. So what that
Yeah.
does, what the what that does for me is like, wow, it does two things for two important characters at the same time because the script does multiple things at the same time, which is really clever.
Always.
It shows that Bud, he is one of the kindest, most humble guys in the entire world. And it shows his boss as somebody who never would have left his wife and made it look like he did to win Fran's heart.
Because he wanted pussy.
To show his real character.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's never addressed in the script. That's just shown on screen. And we're left to say, wow, that character is really shitty and wouldn't have done this or would have done this instead.
Yeah.
We're left to interpret it that way. And then with that context that we as the audience are treated to be smart enough to understand, we look at the movie and go, wow, holy shit, what incredible story work is happening right now. I could just go off on
One
this
small
movie.
thing I really, really appreciate is how the doctor, his neighbor's a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctor's like, you need to become a mensch. You need to become a human being.
A real
Because
good man,
This
yep.
whole time, he was just being walked on by all of his coworkers. And yes, it was benefiting him,
Mm-hmm.
but not in a way that like was making him happy.
It was
You could-
it was like a self-denigration,
yes,
but beneficial.
Right.
exactly,
You know?
exactly.
Yep.
It would make him
It
feel
would
like
help-
shit, but it would help.
It would help you get higher up in the company, but really you're losing yourself by doing that. And
Yeah.
at the end of the movie,
He sticks up for himself.
he sticks up for himself
He's-
by saying he's going to become a mensch. It comes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wilder-
I fucking appreciate that.
Wilder does that in his movies, which I really, really like.
Yeah.
The Lost Weekend had layer upon layer upon layer of like rule of threes and little subtle things and like character driven things and like everything wove together in such a smart, cohesive way with every single thing he ever did.
Yep.
You know what's absurd to me that this movie still does because it's that good is that at the same time that it handles some of the darkest, heaviest shit in subject matter in any Best Picture so far, it is also, and I'm going to say this unequivocally, this is the funniest Best Picture winner I've ever seen.
Oh, without a doubt.
Out. This is funnier than the ones I really did like. Like, what You Can't Take It With You was funny and hilarious and all that stuff. It Happened One Night is really good. This is the funniest one, and a lot of the reason to that is not just because of the jokes, although the acting and the jokes delivery is really great too.
Yep.
A lot of that is the cleverness of the script, the screenplay, the wording. I wish I wrote down the quote, but it's towards the end where it's like, oh, this is the key to the washroom. It's because I'm all washed up already. And then doctor's orders, I have to
Become a
stay
mensch.
in and become a mensch, even though that's not doctor's orders, but it's technically his doctor friend telling him he had to do that
Yep,
earlier. Like, and those lines happen back to back.
Yes.
They're like bam, bam, bam with like the clever double meanings and
Again,
triple meanings and shit.
everything comes full circle.
That's a Wilder script, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember in The Lost Weekend
I
where
don't.
he sold his typewriter to get alcohol after he sold something at the typewriter in the first place?
Yes. Yeah.
Everything Wilder does with his movies wraps up in a nice little bow, and I really appreciate
Even
that
though the
with way he
typewriter-
writes. I really appreciate the way he directs too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
The forced perspective thing with The Office is really, really nice.
You said that this won directing over Psycho. I'm still kind of split about that because Psycho
No, I agree.
is like taught in terms of what a director should do. But I also
think-
understand why it got nominated and why the
I
Academy would feel this
I
way.
like Psycho. Don't get me wrong. I'd probably have to watch it again. I haven't seen it in a little bit, but I think this might be better.
You know,
I'm saying this is better, and I've seen Psycho. Especially the acting too, because everybody in this movie is so charismatic, and everybody feels human. It's not just a bunch of stereotypes. It's nice.
Yep.
I love Jack Lemon's like animated
oh my
acting.
God, yes.
Oh, I want to watch every movie he's ever been in.
Yes.
Dude, it
He's
reminds
so
me
good.
a lot of Jim Carrey with his anime. Like it feels like a cartoon character in a live action context, which is really cool. Like Jack Lemmon can be very manic when he needs to be, but also very quiet and subtle when he
Again,
needs to be.
I got a bunch of Jerry Lewis vibes, who around the same time period, but he's doing that same comedy style. It's like Jim Carrey's basically like an evolution of that, or de-evolution, depending on which way you look at it. But
Yep.
it's like that comedy style, and I appreciate that because that's where I find my favorite movies. Again, I'm
Absolutely.
a big fan of comedy, and You know, that already gives this movie a big praise rating.
You know,
And
I
me-
love a good comedy, but I would not call it my favorite genre. I think this is one of the ones that really sticks out as
Yep.
wonderful.
I would consider this maybe one of the top tier comedies I've ever seen, just because it has such a good movie surrounding it.
I
Yeah.
think I'd agree. It's that good.
Because like most of the comedies that I like are comedies that the movie's just enjoyable.
And you said the acting was good. The acting from Fran is also phenomenal.
Yes.
Yep, Shirley MacLaine.
I want to point out a scene where she finds out she's not the only side piece of the boss, and then Jack Lemmon is showing her his new hat.
Comes cold and like
Yep.
hollow.
But in that
A
scene,
shell.
Jack Lemmon's like, I like my new hat. Should I wear it sideways and all this stuff? He's like being charming his usual self. And she's holding in the trauma of having learned this about her and how worthless she feels. And she's still saying like, yeah, it looks good. You know, she's holding it in.
You
And
can see she's obviously struggling with it too. She's
Oh my
doing
God.
a really good job with that.
And as the scene progresses, it starts off with her having a more or less handle on it,
Yep.
and then the emotions start to bleed through. And it's done in such like a subtle way, because like in a movie in the 60s, you'd expect like, oh, what's the use? I'm acting all over the top. Oh my God, I can't believe they're doing like all kinds of like overacting shit. But she's doing it in such a calculated way
Yes.
that I just did not expect from a movie like this, and it's so good. No wonder they both got nominated.
I think that scene has a lot to do with A, the acting, B, how much we like the characters because the character work. But the shot selection in that scene's also really good because it would her keeping herself together, him fucking around with his hat, her losing it a little bit, him fucking around with his hat, her losing it more, him like the back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Really nice. That's the proper way to do that scene.
Yes.
It won editing, right? It's fucking why. It's fucking why.
There are a lot of really good shot selections, really good quick paced edits.
It's the timing.
Yep.
It hits, and with comedy, it's all about timing.
Even the cinematography. I mean,
really nice. Yeah.
you see that like the beginning scene in The Office. You see all those computers lined up, and you have like that weird fisheye lens. That's
It's
not common for
so
this time
I
period.
can actually tell you they did the forced perspective.
Sorry.
They had a long room of desks. Progressively smaller people and smaller desks are placed in the back of the room over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a room, but what they do is they downscale the furniture and place it in
Right.
certain places, and they have kids in the back. By the way,
You know,
they
it's
use
funny.
children in the
That's
back.
so funny.
First half of the movie, I didn't even think about that fun fact. Second half, I did, and I looked for it, and I couldn't tell. It was done so well. And if you really squint, there's this one dude. He's like barely any pixels. The one dude that you can tell is a child, like a literal kid.
Yep.
But other than that, like it just works. And
fine.
when you're not looking for it, it totally works in motion.
Yep.
It totally works.
I did want to tell you guys about the forced perspective thing because I think it's really interesting.
Oh, it's so
and
good.
I wanted you to look at it in real time with that experience.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, there's a lot of really good shot selection. The scene where he goes out on the bench towards the beginning of the movie because they fuck in his apartment all the time. The plot of this movie's fucking hysterical.
It's the
Yes,
best
it
plot.
is. Yeah, it
I'll
is.
go more into that in a minute.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that shot where he's sitting on the bench and you can see like just the empty barrenness of the park around him, that sets up how he feels throughout the throughout most of the movie.
Yep.
And I really, really appreciate that.
Right.
So I'm gonna talk about the plot. This movie's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, it
People just
is.
fuck in his apartment the entire movie, and god damn, is it hilarious.
He schedules what days
Yeah.
and times they're going to fuck in his
I
apartment.
think maybe the funniest scene in the movie is when he's rescheduling the Wednesday for the Friday and the Friday for the Thursday and the Thursday for
Yep.
the Friday.
Oh my god.
It's so funny. And everybody in this movie oozes with a real aspect.
Yep.
They all feel like people instead of characters.
Oh my god.
And
I really like when oh my god, Mr.
Sheldrake.
Sheldrick.
the
Sorry.
boss. I
Yes,
don't know.
Mis-
I don't know how to say his name.
I really like when Mr. Sheldrick is like trying to figure out what this whole key scheme is between his top employees in
Yep,
this
yep.
one apartment. Is he's like, oh, we had a bookie incident before, and we had to bring in federal officials for it. And like as soon as he figures out, because he has a side piece, he's
Yep.
like, well, I could use this too now.
Yep, yep.
It's like, and it's instant.
I
It's-
love the way that scene was done
Yep.
too. Like the slow reveal and build.
Yep.
The last line in that scene might be one of my favorite. What's 4 to 5 for percentage wise?
Yeah.
The rotten
five
apples.
The
thing.
rotten apples.
Because he's like 4 rotten apples. You know what they say? And he's like, I want to fuck in your apartment.
He didn't say that. It's a movie in the 60s.
It's so stupid. The premise of this movie is hilarious, dude.
Oh.
It's
It is.
so funny.
It's amazing. I love it.
I don't believe they made such a serious, real movie based off such a hysterical premise and also made it funny at the same time because it's a serious movie. Like this movie has these serious aspects, and you guys were on the edges of your seats. Man.
We were.
I
The
was
last
also-
the last 10 minutes, Joquin and I, Joquin stood up.
I got
was
on my
on the
knees.
edge.
I got on my knees.
That wasn't for the
okay.
movie, though.
We were worshiping because we have a
All right,
very
wise
large
guy.
television, and we're like worshiping at the
Yep.
altar of this
I
movie.
was
Watching.
so okay because I was so ready for this movie to do the same thing Gigi does, except for I guess it would be the opposite, right?
Where they don't
The
get together.
reverse
Where
Gigi.
The reverse Gigi. In this movie, it makes sense for them to get together. In Gigi, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, this movie needs to end this way, and it'll become one of my favorite movies of all time. And it ended exactly how I wanted it to.
This movie is
Joquin, movies
phenomenal.
don't need to be exactly how you want for them to be good.
True.
Ask the Star Wars sequels.
Got him.
They're not great, but people are
Aye.
mad because they're not exactly what they wanted.
You know, this movie is unreal with how good it is. I expected a good one because the guy who made The Lost Weekend, one of the best pictures, made this.
One of the
And
best pictures.
I expected something good because like
We were talking about
you guys
it.
were talking
Yeah.
about it, but I had no idea what I was really getting myself in for. Honestly, for like a good 5 minutes, I thought this was going to be Rear Window,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, wait a minute, no, that doesn't make any sense. Rear Window's like later
Yep.
because that's after Psycho.
yeah.
So like, no, this is not Rear Window, a movie that I have seen and a movie I'm not too big a fan of. I guess I'm just not.
Rear Window's not that bad.
So
Are you not a Hitchcock guy?
I'm not a Hitchcock guy.
So this
guess.
movie and The Lost Weekend are the only two Billy Wilder films to win.
Yep.
He's been nominated 8 times. I'm trying to like binge them.
Yeah, the movies that I named are the movies he got nominated for Best Director for.
The only 2 movies I've seen of him are 2 of not to spoil it, some of my favorites ever.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see what this guy's made ever.
I
So
am-
I'll be looking at his filmography.
And you know, I do want to say that out of all of the Best Pictures, I think this might have the best on-screen romance that is barely a romance.
Yes.
Do you know?
Right.
Sorry, I just quick Googled. Do you know Billy Wilder's epitaph on his gravestone?
What?
I'm a writer, but then nobody's perfect.
Jack Lemmon's. So when I was looking at the fun facts, do you want to know what Jack Lemmon's gravestone says?
Oh, he's dead.
Jack Lemmon in like
Just like I'm an in.
Yep.
Oh, from the.
on
Yeah.
the title cards.
That's amazing. Oh my god, I would do that if I were an actor. I'm gonna steal that idea.
Jack Lemmon in the grave, and it's really sad.
In the ground. Oh my
Yeah.
god. That's
You
funny.
gotta respect people with senses of humor like that.
Yeah,
though.
like Billy Wilder and Jack Lemmon, two of the funniest dudes.
Oh,
Dude, that's
man.
unreal.
Do
how
they
good this
have
movie
any
was.
more movies together?
Yes,
Jack Lemmon and
he worked with
fucking-
Wilder 7 times.
Fucking
I
tell
will
me
be
each
looking
one
at
of
them.
those movies.
I will be looking at them. Absolutely. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I even said it right here. Lennon worked with Wilder 7 times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have no negatives. I have no more notes except the last note, which we'll get to when we get to the end. But
But
what do you
so
guys have left?
This movie might have some of the best uses of dialogue that I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely.
Honestly, the dialogue is so crisp, clean, and human. And it's not like, you know how all movies obviously try to have a human aspect to their dialogue. They don't want to feel awkward and like sort of janky.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this conversation feels just like normal conversation that is every day.
Yeah.
He has his mannerisms that they don't feel forced, like the otherwise stuff, like wise and crumble wise
Yeah.
and cookie wise. Like everything about that feels like just like a weird, quirky thing that a normal dude would have. His apartment isn't some. They actually did this on purpose in the production of the film. They didn't want his apartment to be like a grandiose apartment like they showed in a lot of movies back then.
Yep.
They wanted to have like a normal working man's apartment, so they like shabbied up the apartment on purpose.
Yep.
Like this movie just feels natural,
Does.
and that Wilder does a really fantastic job of making things like that natural.
Yep.
He did the alcoholism in the best I've ever seen in The Lost Weekend.
Oh yeah, because they were. Oh well, I mean, I thought you were talking about this.
No.
This is. I mean, the alcohol scenes in this movie are still really fucking good
Yeah.
too. Because it's not. They're not fucking dizzy and dancing all over
They're
the
not
place.
wings where he's like boo-boo-boo.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
no. This is
no.
very sensible.
Yeah.
Drunk people still are,
People. They're
functioning.
still people.
They're just less functioning.
Well,
Right.
the scene where him and Jockey Girl,
Yep.
I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
I don't know.
In the bar, he's out of his brain, but he's like focused drunk.
Yep.
He's just like staring at nothing, drinking. and she's blowing the straw wrappers.
It's funny. Yeah.
So funny. This like it's just a human element that some directors don't have, some writers don't have. Like even some of the best scripts of all time don't have as much of a human element, and even good movies. Like I like a lot of movies. Don't get me wrong, but some of them, you're watching a movie, and you're like, oh, what a banger movie, and the script can still be really good and just be don't have that perfect human element.
Yeah,
right.
Because you're emulating the human element. It's not real. This doesn't feel like it's emulating a human element. It just feels like a human element.
It really doesn't.
And you guys, Jake, when I talked about the improvised scene, you're like, that's the scene where I thought he was the best.
Yeah.
It's the human element.
You got to let, he shined on his own.
And some actors bring that human element more than others. Obviously, it can just not be a script thing.
Yep.
That's why I think that some method acting is really important. And I know people shit on method actors, but
no, some of the best acting ever has been done by method acting.
Yeah.
So.
And obviously some hasn't, but like
I'm pretty sure my two favorite performances, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight and Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood, are both method acting. I could be wrong on that though.
But like, I think getting into that and really becoming what you are for the film is insane. Like, I love stuff like that. Some people take it too far and then suck. Jared Leto. No offense.
Okay. Aside from Suicide Squad, he's
super talented. No,
in everything.
I really, really like him in 95% of the stuff. But he method acted for that, went overboard, and wasn't great.
Yeah.
Thought he was fine. But that's neither here nor there. Any final thoughts to wrap your points?
If I have one teensy tiny little nitpick.
All right, so I'm going to talk for... No, I'm kidding.
Literally, fucking... If I had to give a complaint about this movie at all, and it's such a small complaint, it's the accents are a little hammy, and you can tell they're kind of hamming it up. But I think that's just in line with comedies of this time.
Sure.
And this isn't a complaint. This isn't even a nitpick. But it feels like this movie could have come out like 20 years earlier. This doesn't feel like a 1960s movie.
Is it because of the black and white?
It's not just because of the black and white. It's because the sets are very limited too. I know we just talked about how they were using miniatures and stuff like that, but the sets are still sort of limited in scope.
I mean, I like the fact that it's in a smaller selection of places.
No, I'm not saying
it makes it feel more personal.
Again, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just an observation that I had.
I think it makes it feel more personal because this is a very personal, intimate story.
True.
You know what I mean?
If
it was going all over the place,
I'm just saying that's an observation.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't say
that's not a complaint. If anything, like you said, it makes it more personal and homey.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, if it was like a rich man's apartment, then
it would be missing something.
Yeah.
It would miss that human element because he's just a dude.
You feel like a personal homie, if I'm being honest.
Thanks, man.
But aside from that,
there's some really just to shine up a little bit of the lines in this movie. I really like when she goes, I wrote Fidel Castro a letter.
Yeah.
Holy shit, was that so
she
out of...
said Fidel Castro and Ian just went, yes!
Castro?
Like, why do you think of Cuba? I'm like, is she going to talk about Fidel Castro? And she did. And I'm like,
she
what
did.
the
She
fuck?
did. She did. Yeah.
And when he takes the mirror from her to look at the hat and goes, it's broken. And she's like, I like it that way. It makes me look the way I feel. Whew! And then when he's like, I'm lonely and no one likes me because of these reasons. I'm like, pain. Every time.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah.
Because he's so charismatic and kind and lets people not take... He doesn't... I guess it's taking advantage of him, but he's letting them do it. I guess he is taken advantage of, basically.
Yeah.
It sucks to see him sad.
Well,
and
Bud's
lonely.
such a pushover, but he's never gonna be the kind. Well, until the character arc, he's never gonna be that kind of person that's like, no, actually, I have boundaries.
Yeah.
Because even at the beginning of the movie, when he's like, no, I just took a bunch of sleeping pills. I'm trying to go to bed right now. I'm in pajamas, and the guy on the phone is still hounding him, and he's like, all right, fine, you can come over, and he's still relenting that.
Yeah.
And that complete 180 by the end.
That goes with the character arc too. He slowly concedes less and less throughout the film. He concedes at the beginning, and then he stops letting those 4 dudes do it, and then he stops letting his Sheldrake do it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, it's a slow rule of 3 kind of deal, especially with that. Where you see him just stop letting people shit on him.
Speaking about going full circle, though, I know we talked about that a while ago.
Hey, it's always good to bring back. We're gonna bring this.
We're gonna bring it full circle. at the end of the movie where she's like, I'm going to send him a fruitcake every Christmas.
Yes. Oh my god.
Because earlier
Mhm.
he was like, "Oh, you'll get over this eventually. You'll heal. It sucks now, but like I know what you're going through because a similar situation happened to me." And they were talking about that, and she literally applies that. I think at that point she's really starting to look at Baxter in a whole new light.
Right.
That's where she starts actually developing feelings for him.
Yeah.
And again, at the end of the movie, it's not like they confirm it or anything.
Yeah.
It's heavily implied that they're going to get together
Mhm.
because of the Jin game.
Yep.
But it goes full circle.
Mhm.
It
And
is
it
nice.
feels very natural.
Feels
It
earned.
feels natural.
It's the kind of movie that it doesn't explicitly tell you because it treats us as smart enough to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and put together in our minds this shit's happening. That's great.
And the sound, I'm gonna say, the soundtrack in this movie is genuinely underrated because
Mm-hmm.
it's not overbearing. It's nice. It's very, I wouldn't
It sets
say
the
it's
mood.
digestible. Like you're
Yep.
sitting there, you're like, oh, this sets the mood for this scene. Then it will stop when the scene's going.
Yep.
And then it'll,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't overpower anything. It accents it very, very nicely. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So
I hate when movies, especially a lot of comedies, overuse songs or like play a poppy
Yeah.
song. You know what I mean? Like that's more modern, but
right.
a lot of the older comedies will be like, here's like fucking happy, cheery, over loud. This was very
Not that.
nice,
Mm-hmm.
like a real film,
Yeah.
which is what you should be striving to make.
It is a real film, and it's so much more than that too.
With that,
With that,
are we finally ready?
I'm ready.
Fellas, you mind if I go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
I have a new favorite.
New favorite Best Picture.
A new favorite Best Picture.
All right. Is
If
it The
not,
Apartment?
if not, like a new favorite movie of all time.
It's
It's not my number one, obviously.
it's your.
But
it's Gigi. Yeah.
man, it's up there.
Gigi. Yep.
Yep, Gigi. Thank heaven for this movie. Thank heaven
Yeah.
for The Apartment.
Yep.
My favorite movie so far, The Apartment. I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10 already. You guys already know I don't give 10s. That's fine, but yeah, it's a very high 9.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
You wanna go next?
You want to go next? Or you want me to go
sorry.
next?
And worst is the fucking Gigi.
All right. I'll just go next. I know I sound like I'm giving fucking 10s out like candy recently. I really don't. I have really high standards with the movies I watch.
Wow, it's almost like these are best pictures, so they should be high
Well,
rankings.
yeah, because like the
Yes.
last they should be, but they have been.
that's true.
They've been a lot of shit. But no, recently we've had Ben fucking Hur. We've had River fucking Kwai. We've had like some top tier all time best 10 out of 10s. I have no apologies. The Apartment with Jack Lemmon is a 10, boys. It's one of the best ones. It's not my favorite of the best pictures. It is top 4, maybe 5.
Ooh,
I have to think about it. I
okay.
have to think about it. But it's so high. It's so brilliant.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep this not as my favorite because I don't want recency bias to set in.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is a banger.
Yeah.
It's a 10. This movie's a 10, flat out.
Okay. Yep.
That being said, though, it's definitely up there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna have to relook and revisit and look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, Bridge on the River Kwai is still the best one, and GG sucks balls. That being said, out of every, remember at the beginning of this when I was saying Magnificent Seven came out this year, Psycho released this year, Spartacus came out this year. This is better than all 3 of those movies.
Yes, it is.
And
Well, I guess I've only seen Psycho.
I love Spartacus. Do not get me wrong. This is better.
I will decline to answer because I too love Spartacus. I don't know if I like Spartacus or this better. I think they're both perfect, basically.
Spartacus is a banger, but in terms of what Spartacus is, I can think of multiple movies that do what it tries to do better, including Ben-Hur.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there are so many elements and aspects of these movies that I can't stop thinking about.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, Jake, I'm guessing I'm dragging this to your favorites.
Yeah.
Oh,
Perhaps
dude.
I already did.
Honestly,
Um,
it might be top 3 for me. I think this is so just to give you guys a general, I have a Google document that I keep all of these in.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, my favorite ones, all the 10s, are Bridge on the River Kwai, Ben-Hur, On the Waterfront, Lost Weekend, Gentleman's Agreement is up there as well. This is definitely up there. I think this might be second or third best.
I
I'm not gonna lie.
have 6 movies that I would give a 10 out of 10. The
Because
top
you have
6
Casablanca up there.
I
as
do have
well.
Casablanca. I have the top one. So Bridge River Kwai is my favorite best picture I've watched so far. We haven't gotten to Gladiator and shit like that yet.
Gladiator's a banger.
I love Gladiator. Bridge River Kwai, Lost Weekend, The Apartment, Jack. This is my third. I just placed it now, which makes it second to the other Billy Wilder film, The Lost Weekend, but like by a hair.
Yep.
And then fourth is Casablanca, fifth Ben-Hur, sixth All About Eve. I think that was a little different than how I had it last week when we watched Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
I'm switching things around, recency bias, whatever.
it's fair.
Right, yeah.
But
You know?
this is how I feel right now. And, ask me fucking tomorrow. I'll probably have the whole thing switched around again.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
fair, dude. Honestly.
But
We've been watching.
Once you get so high up, though, it's
Yeah,
so
it
hard
doesn't
to make
matter.
these minute differences.
who cares about this
yeah,
10 versus that
what
10?
10 do I like better?
Yeah, they're both
It just-
perfect.
For me, it just depends on what I enjoyed more. And I enjoyed Ben-Hur quite a
Oh,
fucking bit.
sorry. Cavalcade, worst one. All right, go on.
But I enjoyed Ben-Hur quite a bit. Bridge on the Requai fucking slap. I think for me, it's the character work that really propels this one up over, let's say, The Gentleman Agreement, even though that movie's character work is awesome. And
Yeah.
Lost Weekend, character work is awesome.
Yeah.
And On the Waterfront, character work is awesome.
So, wait, where did you have this ranked?
Third.
Third ever? Okay, that's a prestigious honor.
Well,
Yeah.
what's your least favorite?
I already said GG fucking blows.
Oh, that's true, you
dog.
already
I
did.
because
You
GG
did.
sucks.
Yeah, it
does
does.
suck.
And the sad thing is, I was looking forward to The Apartment because A, Jack Lemmon, and B, more Billy Wilder. What do I have to look forward to now besides Lawrence of Arabia after we watch one more?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what the next one
Hang
is.
on, real quick though. He made Santa sad. He was so depressed. His depression rubbed off on Santa Claus.
He
Yeah.
made Owl from
Winnie the Pooh sad.
He did. That's true. Look it up. But no, the next one, no. Lawrence of Arabia is the one after the next one, which I'm very
Yeah,
excited
well, you have
for.
to watch one in between. That's what I
Do you
think
know
I
what
said
it
that.
is?
It's not.
It's
one I'm
not
excited
Steven
for.
Spielberg's. It's just West Side Story.
Yep, and I'm not excited at all because I don't like West Side Story. It's just The Outsiders, but worse. I'm not excited.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to be giving it a high score on script because I don't like the script.
I watched West Side Story, Steven Spielberg, because of the Best Picture nominees. I watched all of them. I was very underwhelmed that it was one of the weakest nominees that year, this year technically.
Yep.
So I'm not excited to watch the original. I don't think it's gonna be better.
Excited at all.
Maybe it'll be better. I don't
It's
know.
not the original. The play is.
It's not the musical.
Romeo
I'm
and Juliet is the original. Excuse you.
It's not,
very similar.
It's not the musical that I'm excited for. I'll say that.
That's
Yeah,
also
the
this
sound of
decade.
the Sound of Music is this decade.
Sound of Music
Yes,
is
it
this
is.
decade too. We're coming up on it.
And Oliver. Exclamation
Guys,
point.
I'm really excited for the 60s. I'm gonna be honest. With
I'm
The
excited
Apartment
for Lawrence.
starting out this strong, how can you go wrong? Except we're
can't.
gonna go wrong.
We're gonna go wrong next
We're
one.
not going wrong.
We're gonna go wrong.
Let's end it here.
Let's end it here.
Love you guys.
See you guys next time.